It was supposed to be a simple blind date. A quiet table. 2 strangers. Nothing more. But the universe had other plans. The rain hammered against the windows of Harborview Cafe in downtown Seattle, turning the glass into a sheet of silver. Inside, soft jazz played under the warm lights. People talked in quiet murmurs. Everyone comfortable. Everyone normal. Everyone except Olivia Carter. She sat alone at a corner table, hands wrapped around a mug she wasn't drinking. Her dark hair was tied in a low bun, her blue jacket still damp from the rain. She kept checking the front door, not because she was excited, because she was terrified. Blind dates weren't her thing. Not after the last 3 years. Not after raising Lily alone. Not after rebuilding her life from the ashes of a broken marriage. But her friend Jenna insisted. Olivia, you deserve someone good. Someone kind. Someone kind. Olivia had almost laughed. Kindness wasn't something she expected anymore. And then the cafe door opened. A gust of cold wind swept inside. People looked up. Conversations paused. A man walked in, leaning heavily on crutches. His jacket was soaked, hair dripping from the rain. He looked like someone who had fought a war outside and lost. But he also carried a strange calm. Like nothing could embarrass him anymore. Nothing could break him that wasn't already broken once. Ethan Cole. The man Jenna said was different. He scanned the room. His eyes found Olivia. He let out a breath, relief and fear mixed together, and began walking toward her, each step uneven, the soft echo of metal on wood following him like a shadow. People stared, whispered. Some even smirked. Olivia felt her stomach twist. Because she remembered something. Jenna never mentioned crutches. When Ethan reached her table, he stopped. His breath was slightly unsteady. His hands tightened around the crutches. He looked like a man ready to turn and leave the second she made a face. And then, quietly, without looking up, he whispered, "Please don't laugh at my crutches." The world around them fell silent. Not a single voice in the cafe mattered anymore. Not the clinking of cups. Not the music. Not the rain. Only him. And that one broken sentence. Olivia's heart punched against her ribs. She wasn't expecting this version of vulnerability. This raw, unfiltered truth from a man she'd never met. "Ethan," she said softly. "I'm not here to laugh at anything." He looked up for the first time. Their eyes locked. This wasn't a man ashamed of his body. This was a man afraid of his past. "I almost didn't come," Ethan said, lowering himself into the chair with effort. "People look at me differently now. They assume things. They judge." Olivia leaned forward. "I'm not people." A faint, stunned smile touched Ethan's lips, like he hadn't heard something that gentle in a long time. But before he could reply, his crutch slipped on the wet floor beside the table. The sharp metallic sound cut through the cafe, making several heads turn again. Someone snickered. Ethan froze. Olivia didn't think. Her body moved before her brain did. She reached out, steadying the crutch, steadying him, her hands firm and certain. "Hey," she said, her voice steady. "You're okay. I've got you." Those 3 words did something unexpected. They disarmed him, softened him, broke something open that had been sealed shut. For the first time since he entered, Ethan met her eyes without fear. And in that moment, right there between spilled raindrops and stolen glances, Olivia realized something. This wasn't just a blind date. This was the beginning of a story neither of them were ready for. But both of them needed. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The rain outside softened into a gentle hiss, and the golden cafe lights wrapped the table in a warm glow. Like the universe wanted to give them a bubble of silence before the next storm inside Ethan's chest. Olivia sat back, calm, collected, watching him the way someone watches a person they want to understand. Ethan shifted in his seat, adjusting one crutch that leaned against the wall. He cleared his throat. "I just want to be clear about something," he said. Olivia raised an eyebrow. "Okay." Ethan looked straight into her eyes. No hesitation this time. "I didn't come here for sympathy." The honesty hit the table like a hammer. Not dramatic. Not emotional. Just truth. Raw. Unpolished. Real. Olivia nodded slowly. "Good. Because that's the one thing I don't give." That surprised him. A tiny smirk pulled at the corner of his lips. Most people do, he muttered. She shrugged. Most people aren't me. Silence again. But this silence wasn't awkward. It was electric. Two people studying each other, waiting for the other to blink first. Olivia leaned in slightly. Tell me something. Why did you almost cancel tonight? Ethan looked at the table. You saw it. The crutches. People stare. They think they know my story before I speak a single word. Well, she said, I don't. Ethan hesitated. His jaw tightened. The air around him changed. Heavy, like he was carrying something he hadn't shared with anyone. Something old, painful, unresolved. And Olivia felt it. She saw it in the way his shoulders stiffened, in how his fingers dug into his palm. You don't have to tell me, she said softly. But if you want to, I'm listening. Ethan exhaled sharply, like he'd been holding that breath for months. I used to be a firefighter. Olivia's eyes widened. I was part of Station 41, near South Lake Union. 3 months ago. His voice cracked barely, but enough for Olivia to notice. We responded to an apartment fire. 4th floor collapsed beneath me. Olivia's hand stopped halfway to her cup. Her heartbeat slowed. Her breath caught. She whispered, Ethan. He shook his head. No pity, remember? She nodded once. No pity. He continued. The doctors said I was lucky. Lucky that I didn't die. Lucky I can still walk at all. But every time I use these, he tapped the crutch lightly. It feels like a reminder of everything I lost. Olivia stared at him. Not with sadness, not with fear, but with something Ethan didn't expect. Strength. Quiet. Steady. Unshakable. You didn't lose everything, she said. You're sitting right here. Ethan blinked, stunned by the simplicity of her words. I don't know how to date like this, he admitted. I don't know how to be this version of me. I don't even know if someone can like this version. Olivia smiled, not wide, not pitying, just warm. Ethan, let me tell you something. Everyone walks into a date with something broken. Some scars you see, some you don't. He looked up. Her eyes were steady, unflinching. You're not the only one at this table with a past, she added. Ethan's breath paused. A shift. A spark. A crack in Olivia's armor he didn't expect. Before he could ask, the front door swung open again. A little girl in a pink raincoat burst inside, water dripping from her hood. She scanned the cafe until her eyes landed on Olivia. Mom. Ethan's spine went rigid. Olivia's eyes widened. The girl ran up to their table and wrapped her arms around Olivia's waist. Ethan blinked, stunned. You have a daughter? Olivia swallowed hard. This was her moment of truth. She brushed a strand of wet hair from Lily's forehead and whispered, Ethan, there's a lot about me you don't know. The storm outside had stopped. But inside the cafe, a new one was just beginning. For a second, the cafe felt too small, too quiet, too bright, too honest. Lily clung to Olivia like she'd been searching for her all day. And Olivia held her with the instinct of a woman who'd done this 1,000 times, protecting, comforting, shielding. Ethan sat frozen. This wasn't part of the plan. Not of this date. Not of his new life. Not of the version of himself he was trying to rebuild. Olivia inhaled deeply, trying to steady her voice. Lily, she whispered. Sweetheart, you were supposed to stay with Jenna. What happened? Lily sniffed. She got a call from work. She said she had to go and she told me to come here because it was close. Olivia closed her eyes for one long, painful moment. This wasn't how tonight was supposed to go. This wasn't how she wanted Ethan to see her life. Messy, complicated, unpredictable. Lily looked up at Ethan for the first time. Hi, she said with that soft, curious voice kids have when they're trying to figure out who a stranger is. Her eyes drifted to his crutches. Did you get hurt? Ethan swallowed. Hard. He managed a small, gentle smile. Yeah, he said. I did. She stared at him like he was some sort of hero from a picture book. Did you save someone? That hit him unexpectedly, like a punch right in the ribs. He hesitated, then nodded. A few people, yes. Lily's face lit up. Wow. Olivia's cheeks flushed. Lily, honey, go sit beside me, okay? Mommy's talking to a friend. Lily nodded and slid into the seat right next to Olivia, pulling her damp raincoat into a colorful pile on the cushion. Ethan leaned back, exhaling. A daughter. A whole life. A responsibility. A history he knew nothing about. And yet, he didn't feel like running. He was just trying to understand. Olivia, he said softly, you could have told me. She looked down, tracing the rim of her coffee cup with her fingertip. I know. I should have. But you have no idea how many men run the second I say the words, I'm a mom. And tonight, I wanted one evening where I wasn't just Lily's mother. Just one night. Ethan nodded slowly. He understood more than she thought. He'd spent 3 months wanting the same thing. One night where he wasn't the injured firefighter, the guy on crutches, the man whose future got shattered in a single collapsing floor. He leaned forward slightly. I didn't run. I'm still here. Olivia looked up at him, eyes shining with something between disbelief and fear. You don't have to stay, she whispered, throat tight. This wasn't part of the date. This wasn't the version of me I wanted you to meet first. Ethan studied her quietly. Her hands, steady but tired. Her eyes, strong but carrying storms. Her posture, upright, but only because she'd learned to hold herself together when she had no other choice. You weren't supposed to see this part of my life, she said. Ethan shook his head gently. But this is your life, right? The real one? The one you live every day. Olivia blinked rapidly, trying not to break. Yeah, she whispered. This is the real one. He let out a small, warm laugh. Then I'm glad I got to see it. Her breath hitched. She wasn't expecting kindness. Not after her truth slipped out so unplanned, so messy. Lily tugged on Olivia's sleeve. Mommy, she whispered. Is he nice? Olivia looked at Ethan. For the first time tonight, she didn't answer with worry. He's different, she murmured. Good different. Lily smiled. Ethan felt something move inside him. Something soft, something warm, something he thought had died the day of the fire. Olivia brushed a tear from her cheek before it could fall. Ethan, she said quietly, what are you thinking right now? He held her gaze. Honestly, he replied, I'm thinking this might be the first date I've had in years that actually feels real. And for the first time tonight, Olivia believed him. The rain hammered the windows of Harborview Cafe so hard it felt like the storm itself wanted to eavesdrop. Inside, warm golden light washed across Olivia's face as she sat quietly. Lily curled against her side, tracing disappearing shapes in the steam of her hot chocolate. Across the table, Ethan watched them, mother and daughter, like he was witnessing something he had forgotten existed. A future that wasn't empty. Olivia noticed his gaze. For the first time in years, she didn't flinch from being seen. But inside, her pulse trembled. Ethan, she whispered, you don't have to act like this is easy. I know it's a lot. He tilted his head. A lot isn't always bad. She tried to smile. You're too calm. It's suspicious. He exhaled a quiet laugh. I'm a firefighter. Running toward chaos is literally the job. A surprise kid on a blind date? Not even top 10. But the joke didn't fully cover the strain behind his eyes. Olivia saw it, felt it. That familiar protective quiet people used to hide deeper hurt. She leaned forward, voice soft. Are you in pain right now? Ethan froze. The question hit something sensitive, something he'd been holding behind his ribs. His fingers tightened around his mug. Not the kind you think, he murmured. Olivia waited, still patient, gentle. He looked up, and something in him finally cracked. You know what's worse than the surgeries? He said quietly. It's how people look at me now. Like I'm fragile. Like I'm less. Like the accident stole all of me. Olivia didn't breathe, because she knew that feeling too well. They think the crutches define me, he whispered. But the truth is, it's the loneliness that does. Lily looked up then, those wide, gentle, innocent eyes seeing far more than a child should. You're not lonely now, she said. Ethan blinked, startled by the simplicity of her truth. For the first time in months, his smile didn't look forced. No, he said slowly. Not right now. Something warm, quiet, and frightening flickered in Olivia's chest. Connection. The thing she had trained herself not to trust. She swallowed. So, why did you really come tonight? Blind dates aren't exactly ideal when you're recovering. He exhaled. Jenna said you'd understand people in a way most don't. That you've lived through your own kind of fire. Olivia's throat tightened. My divorce wasn't a fire, she whispered. It was a collapse. Same effect, Ethan said softly. Different cause. Lightning flickered outside, dimming the room for a heartbeat. Lily pressed closer to Olivia. Ethan shifted slightly, wincing as pain stabbed through his leg, but didn't complain. That was the moment Olivia realized. He had come tonight for the same reason she had never wanted to. They were both tired of surviving alone. She lowered her voice. Ethan, you don't have to pretend with me. He stared at her for a long moment. Then you don't have to pretend with me either. Her breath caught, because no one had said that to her in years. Lily tugged Olivia's sleeve. Mommy, she whispered, he's nice. Ethan's eyes softened, like he wasn't expecting to feel anything this real tonight. Olivia could sense it too, that quiet shift. Something delicate but undeniable. Rain pounded harder outside. Thunder rolled. Lily clung to Olivia's arm. Ethan reached forward instinctively, as if protecting them came naturally. And in that small, storm-wrapped moment, something unspoken passed between the three of them. A fragile beginning. A fragile hope. A fragile possibility. Olivia swallowed hard. I don't know where this is going, she whispered. But I want to find out. Ethan held her gaze. I do too. Outside, the storm raged on. Inside, something new had begun. The storm outside had calmed, but inside Maya's apartment, the tension felt heavier than the rain-soaked night they'd escaped. Aiden sat at the edge of the sofa, his hands clasped tightly, his crutches leaning against the wall nearby. Maya could feel the unspoken fear in the room. Fear that tonight wasn't just a coincidence, but the beginning of something dangerous. Olivia sat on the carpet with her sketchbook, humming softly as she drew tiny flowers. The innocence in her voice made Maya's heart squeeze. This child didn't deserve to grow up under threats. She didn't deserve shadows lurking around her life. Aiden finally spoke. Maya, earlier, at the restaurant. The man who appeared wasn't just following us tonight. He was following me. Maya turned to him sharply. Why? What does he want from you? Aiden drew a slow breath. You remember I told you about my old construction job? What I didn't tell you is that the company was involved in something illegal, money laundering, off-record contracts, bribes buried under invoices. I didn't know at first. But when I discovered it, I reported it. Maya froze. A whistleblower? Aiden nodded. They fired me. Then the accidents started happening. My car brakes failed one night. A few weeks later, scaffolding fell during a site visit. They wanted me silent. The crutches. He paused. They aren't just from an accident. They're from someone trying to make sure I never walk freely again. Her chest tightened. Aiden wasn't just a single father. He was a man fighting a war he never asked for, while raising a child alone. Maya stepped closer. Aiden, why didn't you tell me earlier? He looked up at her with tired, honest eyes. Because every time I tell someone, they walk away. They say I'm trouble, a risk. I didn't want you thinking the same. Before Maya could respond, Olivia lifted her head. Dad, are they going to hurt you again? Aiden's voice cracked as he reassured her. No, sweetheart. Not anymore. I promise. Maya kneeled beside the little girl and gently held her tiny hands. No one is going to hurt your father. Not while I'm here. Olivia nodded, trusting her completely, then returned to coloring. Maya turned back to Aiden, her voice low and steady. You're not alone. I'm not leaving. But we need to act smart. Tell me everything, names, documents, threats. If they came this far, they'll come further. Aiden hesitated. I have proof. Emails. Recordings. Hidden away. Where? Maya asked. In a locker at Penn Station, he said softly. I kept it there in case something ever happened to me. Maya straightened. Then that's our next move. We get the evidence before they do. Aiden looked at her like she was the only safe place in the world. Maya, you don't have to involve yourself in this. You could walk away right now and no one would blame you. She stepped closer until her voice was only for him. I don't walk away from people who fight alone. Especially not someone as brave as you. Aiden blinked hard, emotion tightening his throat. Then Maya noticed something. A shadow moving outside the window. She instantly stiffened. Aiden, she whispered. Take Olivia to the bedroom. Now. He followed her gaze. The silhouette, the slow movement, the unmistakable presence watching. Aiden grabbed Olivia and quietly moved toward the hallway. Maya remained still, eyes locked on the window. The man outside wasn't just observing. He was waiting. And the war Aiden had been running from had just arrived at her door. The apartment turned silent. So silent that Maya could hear her own heartbeat pounding like a warning drum inside her chest. The silhouette outside the window didn't move. It just watched, as if it already knew what fear tasted like inside the room. Maya slowly backed away from the glass, every instinct sharpened. She didn't reach for her phone or turn on any lights. She knew better. Darkness was her shield, not her enemy. From the hallway, Aiden's voice was barely audible. Maya, is he still there? She didn't answer. The truth meant nothing right now. Only actions mattered. Footsteps sounded in the stairwell outside, the heavy, deliberate steps of someone who wasn't afraid of being heard. Someone who wanted his presence to be known. Maya motioned quietly for Aiden and Olivia to stay hidden. She stepped toward the kitchen and grabbed the only thing she could use as a weapon, an old metal broom handle. Not ideal. But Maya had fought tougher things in life with less than this. A slow knock echoed through the apartment. Not hurried. Not panicked. A calm, bone-deep knock. The kind that belongs to someone who believes nobody inside can stop him. Maya. Aiden whispered from behind the bedroom door. She didn't turn. Stay with Olivia. Lock the door. She walked to the front door, footsteps silent, her grip tightening on the broom handle. The knocking stopped. What replaced it was worse. A low male voice, muffled by the door, perfectly composed. Mr. Brooks, the voice said. We know you're inside. And we need what you took. Aiden's breath caught inside the bedroom, even from where he was hiding. The man continued, voice eerily polite. No one needs to get hurt tonight. Just give us the evidence. You know how this works. Maya stepped closer, placing herself directly between danger and the people she had sworn to protect. She spoke loud enough for only him to hear. You're at the wrong door. A soft laugh came from outside. Miss Parker, isn't it? You think standing between us and him will change anything? Her pulse froze. How did he know her name? Maya, he continued calmly. Open the door and walk away. You don't owe this man protection. But I do, she said through her teeth. The man chuckled as though amused by her courage. Then you should know, this ends tonight. A sudden crash shattered the air. The window behind her exploded inward, glass raining across the room. Maya spun, barely dodging a large, gloved arm reaching through the broken frame. She swung the broom handle with all the force she had, striking the intruding arm hard enough to make the man hiss and withdraw. 2 entry points, Maya muttered. Cowards. The footsteps outside the door retreated, but not in fear. More like someone circling to another angle. She sprinted to the bedroom. Aiden. We're leaving now. Aiden opened the door, Olivia clinging to his shirt, eyes wide and terrified. Maya grabbed Aiden's crutches and shoved them into his hands. We can't go through the front, he said. Exactly, Maya answered. We go up. Up. Maya pointed to the maintenance ladder beside the laundry room. Roof access. Move. A loud thud came from outside the apartment, someone ramming the front door. Maya lifted Olivia into her arms, Aiden following as fast as he could. They climbed the narrow metal ladder, as the door downstairs splintered open. Voices filled the apartment. She's moving to the roof, cut her off. Maya climbed faster, breath burning, fear pushing her harder. They weren't breaking in to scare them. They were breaking in to finish what they started. And once they reached the roof, someone was already waiting. Cold night air hit Maya like a slap the moment she pushed open the roof door. The city lights stretched across the horizon, flickering like a warning. But the roof wasn't empty. A man stood near the edge, tall, broad shoulders, dressed in black, face hidden under a hood. He wasn't surprised to see them. He was waiting. Aiden froze behind her, breathing hard. leaning heavily on his crutches. Olivia pressed her face into his chest, trembling. Maya positioned herself in front of them. Aiden, stay behind me. Keep Olivia low. The hooded man spoke without moving. You climb fast, Maya Parker. His voice was smooth, almost casual. Too casual for someone planning violence. Maya tightened her grip on the metal broom handle she still held. You know my name. That's your first mistake. He tilted his head. We've been watching you since the restaurant. Aiden stiffened. Since the blind date. The man chuckled. Cute date, by the way. Shame it had to end like this. Maya stepped forward. You're not touching either of them. Oh, I'm not here for the kid, he said. Just Mr. Brooks. And the files he stole. Aiden's face drained of color. That secret he'd been dodging all night. The thing he carried, it was real. And deadly. The man took one step forward. Hand him over, Maya. Walk away. Live your life. She raised the broom handle like a weapon. Not happening. He sighed as if disappointed. Then this gets ugly. Behind them, the roof door suddenly burst open. 2 more men climbed through, same black clothes, same hooded shadows. Now they were surrounded. Aiden grabbed Maya's arm. We can't fight 3 of them. We're not fighting them, Maya whispered. We're escaping them. How? He asked, looking around desperately. The rooftop was flat and open. No cover, no exit except the stairs behind, blocked by the intruders. But Maya had already mapped it. The building next door, she said. The gap is small enough to jump. Aiden stared at her like she'd lost her mind. I can't jump rooftops, Maya. I'm on crutches. You won't jump? Maya said. Her eyes sharpened. I'll get you across. Olivia wrapped her arms around Aiden's neck, terrified. Maya, please. Baby, Maya whispered. I promised you I would keep you safe. I keep my promises. The 3 men began closing in, moving slowly, confidently, like they had all the time in the world. The hooded leader pointed. Enough talking. Bring him. Maya grabbed Aiden, bracing him with one arm, holding Olivia with the other, backing toward the edge of the roof. Aiden shook his head. We won't make it. We will, Maya said. Because if we don't, they kill us anyway. The men lunged. Maya sprinted. Every muscle burned. Every breath was fire. The edge rushed toward them. Aiden tried to keep up, legs shaking, Olivia crying into his shirt. She reached the ledge. The next rooftop was barely a few feet away, but the drop between them was 6 stories of cold concrete. Maya! Aiden shouted. Jump on 3. Maya yelled. The men behind them surged forward. 1. Their footsteps thundered. 2. A hand reached for Olivia's leg. 3. Maya pulled Aiden against her, lifted Olivia higher, and leapt. Time froze. Their bodies hung in midair, Maya's heart smashing against her ribs. Aiden gripping her so tightly it hurt, Olivia screaming. And then, they hit the next rooftop. A brutal roll. A slam of elbows and knees. Pain ripping through them. But they made it. Maya gasped for air, pushing herself up. But the danger wasn't over. Because when she looked up, a 4th man was standing on the far corner of this new rooftop. Waiting. Smiling. As if he knew they were coming all along. Maya froze. The man standing on the far edge of the rooftop didn't rush toward them. He didn't even step closer. He just stood there, arms crossed, like he owned the skyline. A tall figure in a dark tactical jacket, shaved head gleaming under the moonlight. A cruel smirk pulling at his lips. He'd been waiting. Aiden's breath hitched beside her. Maya, that's not one of the guys from the staircase. No, she whispered, eyes narrowing. He's worse. The man raised one hand, slow, calm, and pointed directly at Aiden. You, he said. His voice carried across the roof, low and cold. You're coming with me. Now. Maya pushed herself to her feet, shoving Aiden behind her. Over my dead body. He actually smiled wider. That can be arranged. Olivia clung to Aiden, shaking violently. Maya, there's more of them? A lot more, Maya said. Which means we don't stop moving. The man took a step forward. His boots echoed like gunshots in the night. You're fast, he said to Maya. Jumping rooftops, clever route. That's why they sent me. I don't chase. I block. Maya tightened her grip on her makeshift weapon, the dented metal broom handle. "I'm not scared of you," she said. "You should be," he replied. Behind them, Maya heard the sound of boots slamming onto the previous rooftop. The three men they'd escaped had reached the ledge, seconds away from trying the jump. Aiden grabbed her arm. "We can't fight four of them." "I'm not planning to," she said. "Keep Olivia behind me." The fourth man reached into his pocket and terrifyingly pulled out nothing, just cracked his knuckles and smiled. "Let's make this simple," he said. "Give me Brooks, and the girl lives." Maya stepped forward. "Absolutely not." His face hardened. "Then she dies first." That was it. Maya didn't wait for his next move. She charged. Not because she thought she could win, not against a man built like a wrecking ball, but because she needed 3 seconds. 3 seconds of distraction so Aiden and Olivia could run. The man swung his fist with frightening speed, aiming for her jaw. Maya ducked at the last possible breath and slammed the metal handle into his ribs. The impact rang across the empty rooftop. He grunted barely, but she didn't stop. She swung again. And again. Each hit buying seconds. Each hit earning pain. Each hit blurring her vision from the force of his retaliation. He caught the handle mid-swing and yanked it out of her grip. Threw it off the roof like trash. Aiden shouted her name. The man lifted her off the ground, hand gripping her jacket, muscles bulging. Then he slammed her into the gravel. Lights exploded in her head. Her breath vanished. He leaned over her, voice colder than winter. "You fight well. Shame you're outmatched." Maya spat blood onto the ground. "Shame you talk too much." She drove her knee upward, hard into his side. He staggered just enough. "Maya, run!" Aiden yelled. But Maya wasn't running. She scrambled up, snatched a loose brick from the rooftop gravel, and hurled it at his face. He dodged, but the moment of surprise gave her what she needed. "Aiden!" "The fire escape," she shouted. On the far end of the rooftop, barely visible in the dim light, was an old metal fire escape ladder. Aiden stared at it. His crutches were bent from the jump. His leg was shaking violently. But he didn't hesitate. He lifted Olivia into his arms and limped toward it. Maya ran after them, grabbing Aiden's elbow, helping him move faster. Behind them, the fourth man roared in frustration. And then, from the rooftop behind, the other 3 men made the jump. They landed hard, rolling but quickly recovering. 4 men now chased them. A pack. Unstoppable. Maya shoved Aiden toward the fire escape. "Go. Now." Aiden grabbed the ladder. But as he stepped down, he slipped. And something fell from his pocket. A small black flash drive. It hit the roof with a metallic clink. Maya saw it. The men saw it. The fourth man smiled. "That's what we're here for," he said. And he started walking toward the flash drive. As Maya stood between him and the truth, the rooftop fell silent. Not because the danger disappeared, but because the men who'd been chasing them finally saw it. The flash drive. Small. Black. Scuffed from the fall. Lying between Maya and 4 men who would kill without hesitation to get it. Aiden froze halfway on the fire escape ladder, gripping Olivia tight. "Maya," he whispered, eyes wide with terror. "Don't pick it up." But Maya already had. She bent, scooped the flash drive into her fist, and rose slowly. Her stance wide, her breath sharp, her heart pounding in her ears like war drums. The fourth man smirked as if she had walked exactly into his trap. "Good," he said. "Now hand it over, sweetheart." Maya didn't move. "What's on this?" she demanded. The man tilted his head, amused. "You really want to know?" Maya's voice didn't shake. "Yes." Behind him, the other 3 spread out, creating a half circle to corner her. A tactical trap. Professional. Practiced. Aiden saw it happening. And he knew that Maya was buying time again. For him. For Olivia. And maybe for the truth. The fourth man took one deliberate step toward Maya. "That flash drive," he said, "contains a list. A list of every single employee, partner, and watchdog who stood between my employers and $2 billion. He smiled. "And guess what? Aiden Brooks is on that list." Aiden's voice cracked. Maya, don't listen to him." The leader ignored him. He downloaded the entire file before they could wipe it. And because of that, he pointed at Aiden. He signed his own death sentence. Maya swallowed, rage burning through her veins. That still doesn't explain why you want it, she said. Oh, we don't just want the list. His grin widened. We want the proof that ties one of the biggest fraud rings in Chicago to a senator's re-election campaign. You think a man like Aiden walks with crutches because of a car accident? Aiden closed his eyes. Maya turned sharply toward him. Aiden? His silence said everything. The fourth man chuckled. He didn't tell you? Of course he didn't. Heroes never talk about the beatings they survive. Maya's chest tightened. Aiden finally spoke, voice barely a whisper. I wasn't supposed to see those documents. I tried to report it. I tried to expose them. They found me before I could. He looked at his bent crutches. At the parking lot. Late at night. They didn't want to kill me. Not yet. They wanted fear to do the work. Olivia hid her face in his chest, trembling. Maya, please come down. But Maya didn't budge. She stepped forward. You said they wanted to scare you, she said softly. But you survived. He nodded. Barely. And now they want to finish the job. Maya looked at the four men. And make it look like an accident. The leader shrugged. Accidents happen every day in this city. Maya tightened her grip on the flash drive. You're not getting this. Not while I'm breathing. The man sighed dramatically. Then I guess we'll have to fix that. He charged. All four rushed her at once. Maya hurled the flash drive behind her, across the rooftop, far from the men. The leader cursed, redirecting mid-sprint, while the other three lunged for her. Maya ducked under the first punch, spun from the second, blocked the third with her forearm, pain slamming through her bones, but she didn't fall. Aiden screamed her name. Olivia cried uncontrollably. Maya fought like someone who'd spent her whole life surviving things no human deserved. But four trained men were more than even her strength could manage. One grabbed her arm. Another kicked her knee. A punch cracked against her jaw. She hit the ground hard. But even on the ground, bleeding, gasping, she still crawled toward the flash drive. Toward the truth. The leader got there first. He lifted the tiny device and held it between two fingers. Game over, he whispered. Aiden's voice broke. Maya, run. But Maya didn't run. She stood. Bruised, shaking, barely able to breathe. And she whispered back, it's not over. The night air outside the hospital carried a strange kind of stillness, the kind that makes the world feel like it's holding its breath. A soft drizzle tapped the pavement as Olivia stepped out. Her coat clutched tight around her shaking body. She expected the parking lot to be empty. But Ethan was there. Not standing, he couldn't, but sitting on a bench beneath a dim street lamp. Rain freckling his jacket, crutches resting beside him like two tired soldiers. His eyes lifted the moment he heard her footsteps. Olivia, his voice cracked raw honest. Tell me what I need to do to fix this. Her heart twisted, not from anger, but from how exhausted she was from being brave. You disappeared, Ethan, she whispered. You let your fear decide for you. He swallowed hard. I know I did. His breath trembled as he spoke. But today, when Lily hugged me like she'd known me forever, when she asked if I'd come back, I realized I am terrified of losing people who actually matter, terrified of not being enough for you, terrified that my crutches make me a burden. He lowered his head as if ashamed of every word. Olivia stepped toward him, rain catching the glow of the streetlight like falling glass. You think the crutches are the problem? She asked softly. Ethan, the only thing that ever scared me was watching you walk away. His eyes finally met hers. And in that single look, the emotional walls he'd spent years building cracked wide open. I thought loving me would trap you, he whispered. And I thought loving me would scare you off. They both gave broken laughs, the kind that sound like they're stitched from pain and relief. Olivia knelt in front of him. Not because he needed saving, but because he deserved to be seen. Really seen. You're not a burden, she said, sliding her hand into his. You're a man who survived something that should have destroyed him. And you still show up with more heart than most people ever will. Rain slipped down Ethan's face, but it wasn't only the rain. Olivia, he breathed. I love you. The words hung in the air, heavy, trembling, real. Her chest tightened, the kind of ache that feels like healing. I love you too. Before either could say another word, a small voice broke through the rain. Mommy. Lily stood a few feet away, holding her unicorn backpack, sleepy eyes wide with confusion. Olivia froze. She hadn't realized Lily had woken up in the back seat. Ethan wiped his face quickly, sitting straighter. Lily looked between them, then walked right up to Ethan, tiny curls bouncing. Are you gonna stay this time? She asked. Ethan's breath caught. His fingers tightened around the crutches like a vow. I'm not going anywhere, he whispered. Not ever again. Lily smiled. The kind of smile only a child can give, pure, unfiltered, forgiving. She climbed onto the bench beside him and leaned her head on his arm, as if she'd always belonged there. And just like that, something shifted. The broken places didn't feel broken anymore. The empty spaces didn't feel empty. The fear didn't feel like fear. It felt like the beginning of a family. Olivia sat next to them and took Ethan's hand. His thumb brushed the back of her palm. Slow, steady, sure. Rain softened around them, turning into the gentlest mist. Ethan exhaled, voice barely a whisper. Thank you for not laughing at my crutches. Olivia leaned her head against his shoulder. I didn't fall in love with the crutches, she murmured. I fell in love with the man who carried them. The streetlight flickered, the world breathed again, and for the first time in years, Ethan felt whole. If this story touched your heart, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more soulful, heart-telling stories.